We're going to read a story called Measuring Up, and it comes from our Nelson Literacy book. Okay, here we go. I'm going to have to adjust so you can see the pictures. So, Measuring Up. While we're reading this, I want you to be noticing the titles, the headings, the captions that go with the pictures, all of those things. Come on. All those things give information that help you to understand the story. And these are called text features. Okay? So Measuring Up by Miles McLean. Most pioneers did not have rules or clocks. They had to find other ways to measure things. The general store sold cloth by the cloth yard. So if you've ever been to Fabricland or a place like that, Mr. Hollowex's mom works there. She would sell, if you needed fabric to make something, she would sell you fabric. Now she does it a different way, but I want you to listen to how they used to do it. Arm's length. Pioneers bought cloth from the store to make clothes. The person in the store used her arm to measure the cloth. She held the cloth from her nose to the tip of her thumb. So she'd go and pull it out and all the way to the tip of her thumb. That's how much a cloth yard would be, and that's what she would sell. The cloth in the sky. Pioneers knew it was noon when the sun... The clock in the sky. The pioneers knew it was noon when the sun was right above their heads. Then it was time to stop work and eat lunch. So on that page, I want you to think about what were some things that we measured. We measured cloth, and don't look too close at my nail, cloth, and we measured time. And both of those things were done without a technical measurement. They weren't done with measuring tape. They weren't done with a watch or our phones. It was done by how high the sun was in the sky, much like we learned about a sundial. It'd be kind of like that. So the sundial would work in a similar way. And then by using a measurement that would be always from the tip of the nose to the tip of the thumb. Interesting. And I know First Nations people used to do that too with basket weaving. They would use bite marks. The women who were making the baskets would use bite marks, 3 and a little bit, to measure out for their circle, which you're going to learn more about later. It's pretty cool. Okay, next page. This is a pinch of salt. So sometimes you see this still in recipes. So if you're ever not sure how much a pinch of salt is, that's how much a pinch of salt is, about how much you can hold in your fingers. No measuring cups. Sounds like how I cook. Pioneers did not have measuring cups or spoons for baking. They used a fistful of sugar or a thumbnail of nutmeg instead. Now, you can talk to your families and see, sometimes there's family recipes that have been passed down, and they'll say, measure up to the line in the green bowl with flour, and then add, the orange glass full of milk or water to it. So they weren't technical measurements again, just like we talked about, but they were measurements that worked for them at the time, which is pretty cool. So you should ask around, see if your family has something like that. So over here it says, pioneers used bowls, teacups, and jugs to measure too. That's just what I was saying. Oh my gosh. Marking time on a candle. How did pioneers know when to take bread out of the oven? They used a candle. They cut a mark in the side of it. When the candle burned down to the mark, the bread was done. Candles were also used to measure time. I didn't know that. Did you guys know that? Crazy. So, as you saw there, the pictures and the captions really helped with our story, because I wouldn't have known the visual of what a pinch of salt is, and it's really hard to explain in words. So the picture was very helpful, and then the caption telling me that's what that was meant for. And then talking about how no measuring cups were used, so you might have had the question, well, how did they do it? Then they had the picture with the caption again. And then to be able to measure time using candles, that's really interesting too. I don't know if I see a mark on it, but So I want you to be thinking about how your family measures things around your house. How are we the same? Do you use any of those kinds of strategies still? How are we different? So using comparison, what are some things in your house that are different now with timekeeping or measurement of food, or like we said, something like how you would measure a yard of cloth. So talk about that, think about that, reflect on that, and we'll be checking in on that again later.